and then I had to do it for one more week. So on the second week, I got a $20 raise. So I figured that was a 10% increase, and I was like, where else am I gonna get a 10% increase in pay? Nowhere.
So what year was this, Francisco?
You're probably thinking 1990s, but it was 2005.
2005. So, man, that was more than a decade ago, huh?
I guess. Oh, great. Now I feel old.
So, what was your job when you first started? I mean, what were they paying you to do?
Oh, it was piecework tile. That's where I started. And I was just picking up trash, putting up rolls on the roof. Pretty much just a gopher, And then I told my foreman, I really do want to learn. When I saw the $20 increase on per week, I told him I really do want to learn. So by the end of the summer, because it's basically math and math in action, and I was already good at math, so I started implementing it to where we would actually do more with less guys, kind of like systematically up on the roof. I would help coordinate with my coworkers, and then we would knock out houses faster than the other crews. So it would be me and another guy knocking out one house per day, 35 square house per day. And then money started rolling in when the foreman started to realize who was setting up the other guys so we could do more with less guys.
So you were actually, from the get-go, man, you were figuring out the angles, trying to figure out how to go faster, how to be more productive. Listen, Francisco, we got a lot of guys on that are scrolling through right now saying hi. It's Mark. Right, so he's in Virginia. Rick McAllister, the big dog in Central PA. Stephen up in New York. Andrew Anthony. William Standish. Brandon Mills is watching. Man, we've got a bunch of guys coming on here because they all want to hear you talk about selling retail. That's why they came, okay?
Oh, they want retail. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they want to hear that. But let's keep going with the story here. We're going to pick up. So you're bringing guys on. You're figuring out how to get the jobs done faster. You're on the roof doing the roofs. You're doing tile work at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm still doing some tile work. Actually, I just hung up my bag a week ago. I did a big repair on a church. It wasn't really big square-wise, but I charged almost $2,000 per square. And they said it was worth it because we were gonna do it right this first time around. It was a 5-story, 50 feet off the ground, bell tower. And they first were complaining about the price, and I kept telling them, if you complain about the price, you can go cheaper. But I'm gonna be back in about 5 years, and I'm gonna redo it again. And you'll remember making that bad decision. So if you want to sell retail, you actually have to sell trust. If they trust you, they won't care about the money anymore because you're worth it more to them than dollars. If you're a number, there's always going to be lower. There's always going to be higher. So you establish your own worth by setting your own price and telling them what it's going to cost to solve a problem.
Francisco, do you negotiate on price? I mean, you told them $2,000 a square. Now it's 50 feet up in the air. That's an invitation for OSHA to come by on any day. But you're $2,000 a square. Do you ever negotiate on your price when you're selling retail?
Yeah, you do have some leeway. More than anything, I try to set my price firm, where I do tell them, like I'll set the price, and then they want to know why. Like it scares them, like why is it expensive? And I tell them, we're gonna do it right. We train the right people. We're gonna do it safely, which is gonna be a lot cheaper than having to pay for someone's funeral. And
you scare them.
Not scare them. I mean, this is stuff that really does happen. Sometimes the inexperienced ones, the ones that give them cheap prices, end up costing more.
Well, Francisco, we got more people that want to say hi to you. Damien, he's in Chicago, old friend of mine. Damien Tortoise. Steven says, hey, gang. William Standish says he started on an install crew. It's the best way to learn. Carrie's on. He's a good guy. Mark, sell the trust. Boom, you got it. Bruce Boyd's watching. All right, so when you talk about selling trust, because it's all about trust, what are the principles of selling trust? I mean, how do you get them to buy that they should trust you?
I like to throw in the manufacturer's warranty. So if you're not throwing the manufacturer in along with you, then it's just you against the homeowner. If you throw the manufacturer, it's whatever X amount of years the manufacturer has been in business that has more credibility than somebody who's just starting off. If I tell them,
How does that work when you're competing against guys that have the same manufacturer?
well, that's where you be openly honest with them. You can tell them, if you're going to go with a GAF product, go with a GAF contractor. If you're going to go CertainTeed, go with them. And then ultimately, they don't pick the manufacturer. They're picking the person that was open with them. Mm-hmm. Same warranties, same materials. I mean, to me, they're all the same, but Owens just helped me out a lot more. I don't promote them as a manufacturer. I just promote them for letting me give them access to better warranties than GAF, CertainTeed, ICO, any of the other manufacturers. So when you tell them, that they're all the same, then they start to realize, whoever tells them, oh yeah, CertainTeed's better, GAF's better, then they get a red flag, like saying, these guys are lying to me.
Yeah, okay. So repeat that again, because that's an advanced mindset that you're using there. That's an advanced philosophy. You're saying, I'll say it again. Say it, Frank, because Francisco, some people miss that, what you just said. It's very important.
So if I come to you and I tell you GAF, CertainTeed, Owens, ICO, they're all top brands, Malarkey, they're trusted brands. But if you want to go with a color that you like from, say, GAF, go with a GAF preferred contractor. Ultimately, if someone comes in and says, oh, GAF's the best, then it gives the potential client, a red flag that somebody's lying. And then they get a third one saying, oh yeah, CertainTeed's the best. And then they remember that one of them told them they're all the same. They just have better access to certain warranties. So ultimately they don't switch from the manufacturer. They want to come to the person that really did, was openly honest with them about the warranties. And, I tell them, if you want to go with a different brand, just go with a different roofer. And they don't want that. They want to know why I'm pushing them away. So it actually benefits them. It benefits my sales pitch to push them away. Because then they start to think, oh, maybe I'm too good for them.
So when you push them away, what does that do to your prospect?
You ever see two kids fighting over candy?
Yeah.
And then you take it away from one of them? It's the same mentality. Clients are just like kids. If you take it away from them, now they really want it, because now they're going to be quiet, they're going to be patient, but they're going to wait till you put that candy back down, and they're really going to want it.
The wisdom of Francisco. They want the candy. Hey, give us another shot of that good-looking girl beside you. Look at that. Look at that, Francisco.
Look at that smile.
Oh my God, baby.
You're a blessed man, dude.
Yes, sir. Very blessed.
She's gorgeous.
She is.
And look at you.
You know what it is because I'm so ugly. She looks so pretty right next to me.
Oh, stop it, man. Stop it. Okay.
But seriously, Mike, that's one of the biggest things that you want to do is you want to be honest with them. We live in a fast-paced world that once you hit that door, they're going to Google whatever you told them. They'll Google GAF and they'll say, go with a GAF preferred contractor. They'll Google CertainTeed, go with a CertainTeed preferred contractor. And they come in and told them they're all the same and they check on them, then they trust you.
Yeah. So do you have them come back to you after they say, well, we're going to get a few more estimates? Do they come back to you, Francisco?
They do get estimates. It's a practice here for retail to get 3. And a lot of them, they think they're supposed to get 3, but ultimately it just depends. It just depends what type of how you leave them. If you left with them with a full honest, if you were openly honest with them, when you come back and they invite you, they know you didn't lie. And then a lot of times they will say, what I like to do, I just like to drop the pricing. So they have a price on their hands. And then they get more estimates and they see like some of them are 4,000 cheaper or 5,000 more expensive, and I start to realize that something's really, really off when I tell them, the cheaper one offering you the warranty that I'm offering you, and they say no, they didn't talk about that. So then the number game is out the window. We're not talking numbers. Now I'm competing against the higher estimates, and the higher estimates usually a bigger company, bigger overhead. It's just what's going to happen when you get bigger. You get a bigger overhead, and then they say, yeah, that's pretty much who we invited, a big company, and you know what? We don't want that. We want the business owner / installer on site, and we rather have that mom and pop feel versus somebody sending in a salesman. No offense to salesmen. They'll send in a salesman, they'll send in a crew, and that works great too, but it just depends what reputation they have too. But the way I work is I tell them I'm an owner / installer, usually on site 90% of the time, and that's a way for small business owners to get their foot in the door, is by telling them I'm overseeing 90% of the job.
Francisco, you recently added some overhead, talking about big companies having a lot of overhead. You added some overhead. You're sitting in it right now. Talk to us about the overhead you added this year.
It's ProMaster, 23,000 out the door van. I can set 10-foot piece of metal, which is everything, valley, drip, edge, everything's 10 foot. I don't have to worry about tying it down. I'm gonna add a ladder rack. And it was actually costing me money, because I was having one truck on site. All the guys would have to go with me when I would have to go look at a job. So their checks, their hourly stopped, and my production stopped, and then we would go see a job. If I lost a job, everybody would lose. So on the first week, their hours started to be better, because they would just go straight to the job. I would run errands to make materials, and then I can go meet my clients.
So,
a lot of people think that getting a second vehicle or getting equipment is costing money. It's actually costing money not to. It's scary to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna spend $25,000-$30,000 on X equipment, but if you start to think about it, you're gonna spend $20-$30K to buy time, and it sounds like a ridiculous concept, but if you're able to buy time, you can go to the beach while your guys are producing more work than you could have done it yourself,
Yeah. Francisco, I'm going to hit you with a hard question here in a second, but let me look through these comments. If you're watching Francisco, we're talking about how to sell retail. We're talking about how to market yourself, how to separate yourself from the competition. Francisco's got a lot of great ideas. I'm going to ask him a hard question here in a second, but if you have a question for Francisco about selling retail, I want you to drop it in the comments and I'll pick it up. Francisco, man, here's your hard question. What do you know about selling roofs that most roofing salespeople don't know? What's your secret, man? What's your angle?
I've never considered myself selling. I drop the word selling from anything. When I approach a customer, I tell them, how can I help you? What's the thing you need help on? Because a lot of times they say, oh, I just want an estimate on my roof. So when you give them an estimate and you don't tell them, why they should go with a better warranty, then you're doing them a disservice, where you don't educate them as far as what you're selling for the price you're selling it at. So when that's the only thing that I try to focus on, is how can I help that person? And a lot of times they don't want the help, and those times I just rather drop the client. We're not a good fit because you don't want me to help you. And ultimately, a lot of times, I'd say my selling ratio is probably 8 out of 10. So a lot of times, those times they call me back and say they want me to repair a couple of things. And, if it's a new roof, I like to charge 3 times the repair cost, because the money's got to be made up somewhere. And usually when they lowball someone, they did themselves a disfavor, and we got to make it right. You know, it's not about the money; it's what it's going to cost to fix their problem. You know.
So when you say what you know that other people don't know is that you're not going in there with pressure, you're not going in there with the dog and pony
No.
show. You're just showing up and helping them.
Yeah, you show up and you tell them what you're going to do to help them. They want to know how long the warranty is, and you know, you tell them like, I tell them my service warranty is for 10 years. Then I give them a manufacturer back warranty in case anything happens to me. They still have a warranty no matter what. If I shut my doors, they still have a warranty on their hands. And you know, sometimes that is worth $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 more than the low price. You know,
Is warranty a big deal in retail sales?
it's a very big deal. Yeah, I mean, anybody can slap on the roof, but
Okay.
they want the warranty. It's going to cost.
Is that what separates the good players from the guys that are throwing around cheap prices? Is the warranty?
Well, I think a lot of times they just change materials as far as not following manufacturer specs.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't follow manufacturer specs, you're throwing out any warranties you're putting on their properties. If you don't follow the manufacturer's rules, then there's nowhere for you to say, hey, your product's failing. And that's one of the things that I do tell them. You know, I follow specific guidelines because I want the warranty to be good in case they core it. They'll find the Pro Armor underlayment. They'll find the Owens starter, the Owens shingle, the Owens ridge. I'm a stickler for rules, and you know, if you follow the rules, it's just a lot safer where you can, you know, submit warranties and get them a claim number, and then they'll say, you know, this warranty is good for lifetime because Owens does offer a lifetime warranty, but
Yeah.
you have to go by their specific rules, and they're in fine print. If you don't read the fine print, then you're not really, you know, putting on warranties.
Hold it. Wait a second. Are you telling me you're a roofer who actually reads the fine print?
Yes.
You've read the warranty, like word for word.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe you. All right, let's see what we got here.
That's the thing, you know, anything I tell a customer, they can, you know, check it on Google. They can ask Google, and Google will say, yeah, this guy was telling us everything, you know, we're supposed to. You throw in 30 pound on any roof and you want to put a warranty, there is no warranty. Or 15 pound or the better underlayment. I mean, you just have to follow their specs, you know?
Well, Francisco, let me check the messages here and see what we got. William Standish is saying he started in 2007 on a metal crew with his father. And
Nice.
He did 1.2 this year and has 2 other people knocking. Bruce is driving, but he's listening. Steven's selling CT. He says the install crew's got to be trained and certified to get the 50-year warranty.
Yeah.
The great Jojo Kozel is watching. Shane Brown. Hey, Shane, what's going on, man? William says, my best sales point is that I give the GAF Master Pledge transferable warranty. Scott Wester's on. Hey, Scott. Sam Biswell's watching. Armando Jaycox Jr., the beast from the Front Range. That's right, man. Tim Money. I like Tim Money. I've never met Tim Money, but Tim Money, I like your name, buddy. Sergio's watching from McKinney. Mike Schmidt. Mike, he's a heavy hitter. Kevin, my wife's watching. Hey, baby, how you doing? Rick's watching. What do you do when you only have one of the decision makers? That's a good question. Rick wants to know, what do you do, Francisco, when you've only got one of the decision makers?
I think that would be high pressure sales. I don't do high pressure sales. I would let them simmer on it. The thing is, you want to target the decision maker. If the decision maker is not, it's usually the wife.
Oh.
So if you don't have usually they say it's both parties. That's not true. You really want to target the wife.
How do you know it's the wife, Francisco? How do you know?
because your living room is very nicely set, and I don't think guys have an eye for, aesthetics as far as how everything's gonna be in place. We really just rather say we'll have a bed, we'll have a stove, we'll have a this kind of paint because it just needs paint. Women are more detail oriented, so if you tell them, consult with the wife, that puts them at ease to saying this guy really does want to get to the decision maker. A lot of times they don't want to admit it, but you have to let the wife make the decision for the person that you're talking to. So if you keep telling them, if they say, oh, they try to get themselves out of a deal, that's okay. That all you're doing is just talking to the main guy, usually the guy, but you let them simmer on it. And you do want them to make sure that if the wife isn't there and she's gonna make the decision, you can tell the guy, make sure your wife, when you are happy with the decision you're about to make, because you only want to make this decision once in your lifetime.
So you scare the guy into making a bad decision so that he.
That's why I tell tile, because usually the women they love that tile. So
yeah. So Francisco, you make the presentation to the man anyway, even though the wife's not there.
Yeah.
And then you tell him, make sure.
Actually, I don't do presentations. What I do is I just like to drop the price, and then I want to schedule them in to talk to them why it's going to cost that. So if you can Google Map anywhere, submit an estimate. An estimate's not a contract price because we don't know the layers. And that way, when they bring you in, they already have a number. So they're not going to be pressured to thinking, how much is it going to cost me? They already know how much it's going to cost me. And if they schedule you for an appointment, it's because they've already considered going with you. Now they want to find out why.
How do you deliver that estimate?
Through QuickBooks, and it's itemized.
Okay.
And it says labor, shingles, installation, permit, 3% for credit card, a disclaimer for layers, and a disclaimer for a lumber that we don't know. I can submit an estimate within 3 to 5 minutes after they get an address.
Do you do that? Is that submitted to them by email?
Yeah.
Yep. So you're on that pretty quick. Are you?
Would you like an estimate?
That's a pretty good pitch right there.
I know
some.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're not fast, we live in a world where everything's fast. They don't want to order something and wait 6 to 8 weeks. They want it now.
Right.
So you have to take, someone requesting an estimate, and then you can just do if you don't want to do the Google Earth, you can do the Eagle Quick Squares. It costs you about $12 to $18, but it saves you an hour of drive. So if you value your drive time more than $18, then, it just depends what type of lead it is. If it's a very good lead from somebody that you've already helped with, just do the quick squares or do the Eagle, the Google Earth, and you'll save a lot of time. And if you think $18 is going to cost you, what's 2 hours of drive time? And then getting told no.
So how do you get your leads, Francisco? I know that people are going to ask this question. How do you get your leads, man?
It started out with referrals, and then it started out with just doing over delivering and under promising and over delivering. So yesterday when I said I do a punch list is when I'm doing a roof, I make out a punch list, and then I tell them what I'm gonna fix. They usually don't know anything's wrong with it, but because I brought it to their attention, they get that peace of mind that it's gonna be fixed, even though it's a brand new roof. We've addressed some issues that needed to be taken care of. And then one of the things I like to do if it's a big repair, I like to call them right after a rain to keep myself in their radar. And usually a lot of times they won't remember who did it because they're small repairs. But if you call them after a heavy rain to see how it's doing, they'll say, oh, my friend Joe needs a roofer. Why don't you call them? By the way, our roof is doing good, so thank you very much. if you stay within the radar, they're going to keep referring you to that same type of client.
So what you're telling me is that you work a lot off referrals. I mean, that's how you're picking up most of your business?
Yeah, there's no advertising. I don't advertise.
Okay. What are some other ways that you stay on their radar then?
Social media. A lot of the stuff that they observe. They don't buy, but they know I'm still in business. One of the biggest lead generations you can have is a supplier.
Okay.
Your vendor or whoever manages the account for you. If I'm not saying kiss their ass or anything from them, but any lead that you get, the way I work it is, if he gives me a lead, I buy from him and tell him, this is from that lead. So he knows that the job that he gave me, I'm not taking it and giving it to another supplier.
Mm-hmm.
And they appreciate that because, I'm pretty sure they work off commission too. So when some of a lot of the product gets delivered, a lot of the sales get sent to that supplier that's giving me leads, he's going to keep feeding you leads. It's like scratching each other's back. That's how I got that team job up in the hills.
Yeah, tell us about that job. That was a nice job. Tell us about it.
Speed. The guy couldn't get a hold of any roofing contractors. The supplier had referred 5 of them, and then he said if I knew anybody that did standing seam, I told him I did, and then he said like, I've been trying to get someone to go out to meet this builder, but nobody wants to go meet him because it's up in the hills, and it was really cut up.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I took an aerial and I submitted an estimate within the hour, and then he said, well, I got no other estimate, so would you be able to come in and slack off the pricing? I said, what am I competing against? He said, nobody. And then I told him, why would I want to drop my pricing if there's nobody else competing?
Oh, wow. So honesty, you do the honesty close?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mark wants to know, do you pitch financing?
If I have to. California is very, there's a lot of money in California.
Okay.
I had no idea when I started selling and roofing. I thought I needed finance. I only offer finance if they don't have enough money or if they want to upgrade to something they don't have. But other than that, there's a lot of money here. They'll even take out loans through the bank to avoid paying for finance. There's so many unions out here, teachers, Army, Navy. There's so many unions that just, California has a lot of money. I really haven't financed one job.
Okay.
But I do have, what is it? I think it's Green Sky.
Green Sky.
Oh, Service Finance. I don't even know. It's Service Finance that I carry with me.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Mark wanted to know about financing. We got that one. Matt Andrews is watching in Ohio. What's up, Matt? Brent Roper, he's up in Colorado, man. They're about to get snow.
Yeah, nice.
Mark says it's always the wife. He goes, in my house anyway. Let's see here.
Yep.
Jojo wants to make a comment. Let's see what he says. For someone that does not believe in selling the manufacturer's system warranty, what are the main reasons you believe so strongly in it? No, we use every required product for the system minus using a synthetic that is as a better product but bought directly from the manufacturer. So we are not installing a lower quality system. So I guess the question is, what are the main reasons you believe so strongly in it?
In the manufacturer's guidelines?
Yeah.
Because if something goes wrong with that roof and there's a higher, you could call it a higher grade of underlayment, the manufacturer will say it doesn't matter if it's higher or better, you didn't follow the guidelines.
Yeah.
So I know that titanium is a lot better, but and it's cheaper too, for us in California. But even though it's better, that doesn't mean that you're putting on a warranted system.
I guess what you're saying is that you really push that warranty as a part of your sales and retail.
Well, I want somebody liable if a shingle starts to fail, and if I start switching up, items that the manufacturer doesn't approve, then I'm doing the disservice to the homeowner by not following the guidelines. Say a shingle roof starts to lose all the granules, and I installed, I don't know, titanium ULD 50 because I thought it was better. But if something were to not work with the Owens, then it's my fault for not following, specific guidelines. If it fails and I followed everything, I get to put on a new roof, and Owens will pay me to do a new roof. So why wouldn't I want to follow the rules?
I guess that begs the question, how often has that happened that the manufacturers paid you to put the roof back on?
Well, not me per se, but there have been class actions. And I do tell the homeowners that there's been class actions against everybody. And by me following their guidelines, I'm just trying to protect them from putting on a roof that can, ultimately they can give them access to money to try to make it right. We just had the Lifetime by Monier finish a class action.
Yeah.
They had a one month window.
Yeah.
And only one of my customers got a class action in because nobody else wanted to file, or they just didn't follow through with it. $4,000 for a roof, and I'm gonna remove and relay his roof.
Well, listen, everybody, like you said, has been through it, and nobody is exempt. We make fun of some of the manufacturers for going through it, but everybody has a checkered past. I guess what I'm hearing you say between the lines, Francisco, is that in retail, trust is the most important component of the sale, and you being able to offer that warranty, the system warranty with the manufacturer warranty, increases your trust level.
It definitely does. I mean, what I tell them ultimately is something goes wrong, I want the manufacturer to make it right, and if I don't follow their guidelines, then what's the point of me charging more,
Yeah. All right, Matt's talking about the one-legged appointments. He says, sign one up and come back later for the other signature. Damien has a question here. Do you push to sell in the field on the first meeting, or is your strategy to sell on follow-ups? You're sending the estimate through email, but go ahead and answer that question.
I don't push sales. That's the thing. I just drop them a price, and then they bring me in to see why that price is so high. And things take time, things take money, and then I really don't sell. It's hard for me to even answer that question because I don't push anything. I just tell them what I'm gonna do for a dollar amount, and if they want it, they can take it, and a lot of times they take it, and I'm sometimes stoked to have them. I feel honored to have them let me work for them,
So the first time you're sitting across from them belly to belly, looking them in the eyeball, they've already talked to you on the phone. You've already pulled the measurements. You've already sent them a QuickBooks estimate, and they've called you back, and then you're sitting down with them. That's the first time you're seeing them.
Yeah. So when I see them, they want to know why my price is 500 or 450 a square. And I do tell them, because a lot of times guys will tell them it's a 30-year roof. 30-year roofs don't exist. They're actually called lifetime.
Right.
So when somebody tells them, oh yeah, it's someone that's not knowledgeable to the terms, we'll call it a 30-year. A comp is not a 30-year. It's I haven't seen 30-year in a while. So when somebody tells them, oh yeah, it's a 30-year roof, and I come in and I tell them it's a 50-year non-prorated, 20% after the 50 years, that's a lot more than they were offered by the other guy for more money, with 1/3 of the cost more instead of double. They pay for a 30-year roof, but I'm actually selling them a lifetime roof. I'm not pitching you Owens or anything like that. I'm pretty sure GAF and he'd have the same warranties. But if you tell them 30-year, they're expecting to pay 30-year. And when my price is, $3,000-$4,000 higher, and I tell them they're getting more than double the life, then they're interested.
Mm-hmm. So you do a lot of high-end stuff, a lot of tile. You do custom work. How much of your work is custom, high-end, and how much of it is asphalt?
I haven't done an asphalt maybe in about 3-4 months.
Yeah.
But I mean, roofing is all custom. If you start to get nitpicky with it, I mean, I don't offer anything standard. When the homeowner brings me in for a shingle roof, I tell them what type of valley would you like, because I don't make the calls. Metal Valley, Closed Valley, Wheat Valley, California Cut. I start customizing it for them. If you get them into the details, then it makes you a very detailed person. It makes their roof different than the neighbor's roof. I mean, you want to make it personal, don't you? Some people like O'Hagan vents, some people like Dormer vents, some people like the Whirly Birds. If you don't ask those specific questions, you're not making it personal. Then they're just another customer and you're just another roofer.
Wow, that's good advice, Francisco. Good advice, man. Do you have an idea about how many roofs you think you do a year?
No, not a lot. I don't think I've done a lot. Right now I'm scheduling one a week, which doesn't sound like much, but for me, it's a lot. I used to do commercial and we used to do maybe 1 or 2 a year. So when I went off to do my own, I figured I would try to do one a month. So now I'm doing one a week, with 2 apprentices and 1 crew. And things are flowing easier. One of the things is it's called controlled growth. If you grow too fast, you can fail fast. If you grow with too many sales, too many people on payroll, then your all the money you have to pay per week is increased. So if you have a controlled growth, there's a better chance of having better customers. You can weed out the customers you don't want, because you don't want any customer. And that way you can target your ideal clientele. If you get the ideal clientele, they have friends that want to keep up with the Joneses, and they will refer to each other. Same thing with the lowballers. If you sell cheap, they have cheap friends, and they will also try to get you to go cheaper than their friends.
Birds of a feather do flock together. Okay, Sergio says, is retail roof sales dead in hailstorm areas? This probably isn't something that you know, but seems like in the Dallas area, homeowners just wait for the next storm. Do you have any storms out there?
We get wind. We get wind out here, but it's not a practice for door knocking. It's actually illegal in some areas. You can get fined and arrested. So it's not a practice here. And then, but we do get wind. I do push for the wind claims. And it's super easy in California to push for a wind claim. All I do is I tell them, you have some wind damage. It's up to you if you want to ask your insurance if they cover you for wind damage, and then it's off my hands. Then it's up to the homeowner to see if they want to push for a wind damage claim. And here in California, everybody has a lawyer friend. So usually insurance are quick to pay.
Okay.
And if they don't want to pay, the homeowners will talk to somebody that makes them pay.
Okay. Do you get the money you need from the insurance companies for those wind claims, or do you have to charge the homeowner more?
The insurance and the wind claim, insurance and retail are about the same. Okay. The way I work, if it's not enough or they're not covering whatever I need, I tell the homeowner, they got to make up for it, because I know what I have to build, and the insurance isn't going to dictate what I have to do for a certain price to make their build right. I know it's my job. They don't get to tell me what to do.
So is it one of these situations where they're just happy to have some money from the insurance company and then they pay you?
Yeah. Some of them are really happy to get $13,000, and then they can make up the other $1,500.
Yeah. Okay. Ron Savage, he's a beast too, man. Ron says money's cheap right now. If they have any equity at all in the home equity loan is much cheaper than financing through those finance companies. Are you seeing them use home equity loans?
Yeah, I usually wait about a month and a half for them to get money, and then they have money ready for me.
Ron's asking another question. It looks like one he already knows the answer to, but let's find out, Ron. What type of vent pipe collar does OC have you install with a lifetime shingle?
What type of vent pipe collar?
Yes.
Ooh, I guess I haven't seen that one.
Okay. What do you
Is
use
it
for your
the
pipe boots?
rubber ones?
Yeah. California doesn't use lead, right?
No, no.
So
Well, we do have lead, but we don't use it. No.
it's all rubber.
There's also the platinum contractors, and I'm shooting to be a platinum because their warranty is something I really want. A 50-year non-prorated. I'm shooting for that one, so hopefully I can get that one in soon.
John Watson McClung is on. He's a big dog. Hey, John, Mark. Um,
You want to talk about millennials? Well, we still have 15 minutes.
yeah, let me get these two other questions because guys are like waiting for you to answer, man. They're like waiting for me to ask you these questions. Mark says OC doesn't specify the pipe collar since they don't make them. It's not part of their warranty. And then Damien says, have you ever sold a retail job without ever meeting the customer?
No. You always want to meet them. You want to know who's going to sign your check. And for here in California, we pull permits for everything. The homeowner has to sign. You have to have the homeowner's name when you pull a permit. It costs me $5 to place a lien, an intent to lien. And it's just a way for me to protect myself. If I don't want to go through the lien process, I can just give it to the supplier. They give me access to $10 million. It's called a job sheet. So if it's a huge job, they will access me 10 million. They will place the lien on my behalf, so I don't worry about getting paid. But your supplier is actually your friend. So don't think they're just there. I mean, I don't have any lawyers, friends, or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure the supplier is not going to be happy if they're owed maybe 30, 40K on a job.
So you, who's your supplier?
Beacon, Pacific, RSG. I can't even name who it is. It's one company. I think it's Pacific Supply.
Okay.
Beacon. There we go. Because
So
here in California, they bought out everybody. So
yeah,
I was with Structural, then Pacific, then RSG, and then some of Ford Wholesale. But it's Beacon.
Beacon's trying to catch up with ABC. So here's another question for you, Francisco, before we move on to millennials. You want to meet, even though the homeowner may be willing to sign your estimate sheet and send it back to you sight unseen, you won't do that because you want to know whether or not you're dealing with a crazy customer.
Or a Nigerian scammer.
Okay, gotcha, man.
That's why I started implementing the email and the Google, because I would hit a lot with go look at my house. It would be vacant properties, and I was just tired of it. Driving an hour to go see nobody there, and then the neighbor says, "Oh, this house is in it's going to auction," and which is something that I started to see what's happening a lot. So I really recommend using Google for an estimate. Put in your disclaimers. And don't feel bad for not going to meet the client. It's a lot of times they're just shopping you around. They want to see if they can go cheaper, and that's okay. Everybody has their roofer, everybody has their type of client. But if they waste your time, it's not fair.
You've positioned yourself at the very top of the market with the very best clients who want to deal with a quality installer, quality products. So I mean, when you're getting $400 or $500 a square, you don't have to do a lot of roofs every week.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I just got a standing seam job, and I also got a Da Vinci. So that'll be going up on the social media platform too.
Okay. So how do people get a hold of you, Francisco? We're going to get to millennials. How do they get a hold of you if they have questions? I mean, you are obviously a guy.
They can phone or they can Facebook me. I'll respond through Facebook. And one of the things I like to do is I like to make time for, like right now, we jumped on a call. If we don't schedule time in, then we don't make time for each other. This could have been 1 month, 2 months, but when you said tomorrow, then it's on the books. I have to make time.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it, man. Your time is valuable. I value your time. We've known each other for a while now, and I I'm excited about this call. Let's move to millennials. We've got other things coming in. Francisco, you may want to check the messages, but talk to me about millennials, Francisco.
Well, they're a byproduct of people my age, people your age, being super overprotective. So, and I'm pretty sure you see this in your own kid. They don't want to do anything because they don't have to do anything. Mom and dad are the breadwinners. They went through, the 2008 recession. So they are the way because of our fault. So once you start accepting them that it's not them, it's us, then you can start doing some repairs on their behavior. One of the things you can do for millennials is get them to do one thing at a time, just one job. When I do my builds, I make them I have my 2 apprentices. If it's a big house, I just tell them, just do edge metal all day, and then that's all they do. So their job is simple. If you tell them, go build that roof, you're going to overwhelm them, and they're going to give up. They're going to get scared, and they're going to go home and say, screw this job. I can get an office, and I can make better money there. But if you make it simple for them, then you unstress them, and they can do 1 or 2 jobs, but that's it.
Mm-hmm. What do you pay your millennials?
They're on about, I'm not gonna say the hourly, how much they get paid, but they're progressively paid. Every time they learn something new and put it to practice, I give them $1 raise. So I tell them I'm shooting them for be 6-figure income. So at $50, if I pay $50 a square, if they can do 1 square an hour, which they haven't been able to, they would be at 6 figures by the end of the year if I can feed them enough work to where they can do 1 square per hour.
Yeah.
It's not the carrot on the stick because it's doable. I can do it, and I've shown them that I can do it. But you do have to give them something to strive for. If you don't give them something to strive for, they're going to get bored, and they're going to go on social media. They're going to go on apps, video games, and then they lose focus. So it's just basically giving them something to shoot for in the long run. If you bring them in and start yelling at them, they're gonna go back to their cave. So a lot of the times it's not them, it's us. How we're just different.
Right.
This is 2019. There's 4 to 5 generations in the workforce because you have the baby boomers, you have Generation X, millennials, and I'm pretty sure there's something in between that are all working at the same time. So if you don't adapt to the market, I'm actually shooting for millennials because they're going to be the leaders, whether you like it or not. Right. All your roofers, all your old roofers, they'll be done in about 5 or 10 years. And if you're not building your millennials to be foremen or leaders, then you're going to be out of the market. You're not adapting to change. You have to see 10 years from now, your millennials will be in their 30s, 40s, and you want them to be highly skilled, highly trained, highly paid. And if you're not building their careers, you're building your competition because they can use apps, they can sell. You don't need to, physically do a lot for selling. If you don't build your leaders, you're building your competition.
Yeah. A lot of guys complain about not being able to find good workers, or the workers that they do hire, they're lazy and they can't get them to do good work. That's a reality in the market.
That's a delegating problem. If you bring in a crew and you don't take the time to explain them how you do things in your business, it's like a housekeeper. You hire a housekeeper to clean your house and you see she didn't clean the backyard, and then you get mad at the housekeeper for cleaning the backyard, but you didn't specify what you wanted. It's not that she didn't do her job. You didn't delegate what you wanted done to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Man, solid advice, Francisco. Very good advice. Listen, guys, if you've appreciated Francisco joining us here and you're watching this on the replay or you're watching it live, give him a shout out. Drop by his page, like his page, The Roofing Company.
Yes, sir.
If you need help growing your company, I'd love to have you join me. Private message me about joining the RCO Growth Kit. We have a lot of good stuff.
I'm actually going to invest in you next year. my girl.
Hey, hey, how you doing? Is that Stitch on your shirt? Yeah. Leo and
I'm actually
Stitch.
going to invest in you next year. The first thing I needed to do was start to build the leaders that I want. That's why I have my two apprentices. I'm actually grooming them to be foremen, so they're excited. And then this is my gatekeeper.
There you go.
She's my gatekeeper, so that helps me stay focused on what I need to do. Any unnecessary calls or appointments, because I'm a giver. If somebody calls and says, "Hey, can you help me move my couch?" I'll go and move their couch. But if I don't have a gatekeeper, then then um then I try to split myself 5 ways, and that's not good for anybody because I'll burn out. So one of the things I'd like to give the audience today is have a gatekeeper. That somebody that sets your calendar. If you want to set your calendar to 1 or 2 weeks ahead, then it gives you more control to look at your calendar and say, oh, I can't, Mike, I can't see you for 2 weeks, Mike. And that actually gives you a lot of peace of mind. If you can't say no, get a gatekeeper.
Yeah. Well, that's excellent advice, Francisco. Listen, I want you to join us on Monday. We're going to have Leanne Koppel talking about social media, how to market your company on social media. In my opinion, Leanne is the best in the industry, and that'll be Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time in the RCO. You've been watching Francisco from California, dropping wisdom bombs all afternoon. Francisco, thanks for joining us. It's great to see you. Great to see the people in your van, the beautiful people there. And join us Monday at 4 o'clock.
Okay,
Man,
will do.
Appreciate
Thank you, Mike. Bye.
Bye-bye.